What up, NBA fans? It's Adrian. Now, I know on my channel I've been doing a lot of NFL topics, but we will be getting to the NBA. Now, it's that time of the season where the trade line's happening, All-Star games approaching, and the playoff race is starting to heat up. Now, there's been a lot going on, and I want to give you some of my hot takes, or rapid fire as I like to call it. Now, let's get started with the biggest news of today, and that was the trade between the New York Knicks and the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Kristaps Porzingis, as we all know, who's rehabbing from this torn ACL, had a meeting with the Knicks today, and it didn't look well. And after that meeting, he was shipped off to the Dallas Mavericks along with Tim Hardaway Jr., Trey Burke, and Courtney Lee in exchange from Dallas for Dennis Smith Jr., DeAndre Jordan, Wesley Matthews, and two future first-round picks to go along with that. Now, as we all know, what was being said is that Wesley Matthews and DeAndre Jordan could be two buyout candidates for the New York Knicks. And now, as we all know, this controversy with the New York Knicks and Kristaps Porzingis. I don't know, but I think it's a good trade for Dallas. They want to sign Kristaps Porzingis. I don't know how healthy he's going to be, but let's see what he can do. Now, I like the trade between them two, because pair him with Luka Doncic, who will be the runaway rookie of the year. Hey, you got a team right there, a team in the making. And our New York Knicks, I can understand why they do it. They drafted Kevin Knox in the first round this year. And most importantly, what they are doing is creating two max slots for two max players. Now, I don't know if they're going to get anybody. Now, if they strike out, that will be extremely bad for them. Now, I know they're trying to tank and they're trying to get Zion. That's a hope, and that they need to get him. But along with two max players, I mean, it could be a Kyrie, could be a Kevin Durant, could be an AD, could be a Jimmy Butler. Who knows? But I don't know. If you're a player, I don't know. The thing I question about the Knicks is I get what they're trying to do, but once again, I do not trust Scott Perry and James Dolan, the owner, who is one of the worst owners in the league, hands down. There hasn't been a superstar to come to New York in a long time. The last really good player they got was Amari Stoudemire. They haven't attracted a lot of guys, but we'll see what happens in the summer of 2019, because as we all know, NBA free agency gets wild, and it's like a soap opera almost. And also, you got what's going on with Kyrie in Boston. Will he stay? I don't know. Rumblings is he's thinking about getting back with LeBron. Will he sign with Boston? We don't know. He's trying to be a leader on this team, as Boston currently sits fifth in the East right now. They will climb, though, and they will improve as he decides to become a leader. Now, the other big news in the NBA, too, as well, is the Anthony Davis saga. As we all know, Anthony Davis has one more year remaining on his deal, which he will not be a free agent until the summer of 2020. Now, he came out a few days ago, Rich Paul, who is LeBron's agent also, Clutch Sports, said that Anthony Davis wanted to be traded. Now, he prefers the Lakers. But here's the thing. If you're the Pelicans, you have him under contract for one more year. Now, the Lakers are going to throw the kitchen sink at it with Kuzma, Zubac, Hart, Ingram, Lonzo, a couple first-round picks. But, hey, if I'm Dell Demps and I'm the Pelicans, I'll wait until the summertime, until July 1st. Let's see what all these other suitors can give you, and most importantly, Boston. Let's see what Boston gives you. They have more assets and more people to give for the Pelicans. You gotta have, like I said, it's like having poker chips. You gotta put everything out on the table and see what you can get from everybody before you make that move. Don't feel pressured. As a franchise, you have to get this right, because if you do not, this will set you back completely. Now, as we all know, the Pelicans were almost shipped off to another city, and you don't want that. Now, New Orleans, let's be honest, does not care about basketball. The first thing they're thinking about is New Orleans Saints football and LSU football. Now, you got to make this relevant, and you have to get a star back in the making if you want to make this trade somewhat reasonable for the Pelicans. Take your time. The summertime's coming. Weigh these options. Now, AD doesn't want to be known as a bad guy because he doesn't want to have everybody turn his back on him. But, hey, it's been 7 years, and I'm not going to blame this all on Anthony Davis. The Pelicans have a lot of blame to have for this. They've had him for 7 years and could not put one type of winning superstar player besides Drew Holiday. By the way, he is an underrated player, one of the best defensive point guards in the league that nobody talks about, hands down. So if you want to argue with me on that, you can leave a comment. Holler at me on my Twitter anytime. But anyways, he is one of the best guards in the league. Now, he re-signed there because of Anthony Davis. Now, if Anthony Davis ends up getting traded, which will happen, Drew Holiday is probably going to be on the way out the door too. And he's worth it. He's one hell of a player. He's been balling his butt off. Now, I know the NBA, if he gets traded to the Lakers, hey, that would be good for the NBA because we all know LeBron needs a sidekick. Because right now, at this point, nobody's beating the Warriors. Even with Anthony Davis going to LA, I don't see it happening. The only time we'll tell what's going to happen with AD and his Lakers. The next thing that's going to happen is AD is going to say he'll be a one-year rental as if he doesn't want to go to anywhere but the Lakers. But guess what happened? Anybody who asks for a trade and wants to be traded to a particular team never gets their wish. Let's go back to Kyrie Irving. Had a list that didn't include the Celtics. Ended up getting traded to the Celtics. Kawhi Leonard wanted to be traded from the Spurs. Wasn't traded him to the Western Conference. Popovich sent him off to the 6th Toronto. Now, it's going to be interesting. I don't think for sure Anthony Davis will not be traded before the trade deadline. We have all the way to the summer to decide for a player. I couldn't even imagine it. I couldn't even think about it. Once I had to think about it, a player who's been traded in his prime at 25, who's averaging a career high in points, averaging over 2 blocks, 2 steals a game. Hey, he's having one hell of a season. AD, the unibrow, only time will tell where he's going to go. But, hey, like I said, Pelicans, take your time. Wait. The other thing I want to get off my chest was so far we're through last day of January and the MVP race is heating up. Now, before the season, I picked Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak. And the former MVP from last year, James Harden, has a lot to say about that. Man, what a hell of a duel. But right now, if you had to ask me, I would give it to James Harden. James Harden has had a 24-game streak of 30 points or more. That's only trailing Will Chamberlain. In January, he averaged over 46 points per game. That's only second behind Will Chamberlain. Now, his usage rate was extremely high, but I will not knock him. It was because Chris Paul was out, Clint Capella was out. Hey, he had to do what he had to do. But once again, I think the Greek freak can still catch him as he's averaging the most points per game in the paint since Shaq's MVP season in 1999-2000 when Shaq averaged over 22.5 points per game in the paint. Giannis is averaging a little over 17. He's leading the Milwaukee Bucks to a #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and he was selected as an All-Star, and he will be the captain as they get to pick the teams now, along with LeBron James from the Western Conference. Player efficiency rating is 29.2 for Giannis. But hey, right now, I gotta give it to James Harden, who is leading because he's carrying this team right now. But Giannis still has a lot of way to go, and I'm still gonna pick him to win MVP ultimately. But I gotta give a shout out to my man Paul George, who I would put at #3 right now, averaging a career high with 27 points, career high in rebounds at 8, and the league leading in steals with 2.33 steals per game. He has taken over as the #1 lead dog for the Oklahoma City Thunder, who currently sit 3rd in this Western Conference. They will make some noise in the playoffs. I've been a huge Paul George fan since his days right before he got drafted. And when he got drafted by the Pacers, I said he was going to be a star, complete star, and I was right. I wish it would have worked out with him in Indiana. Glad he didn't go to the Lakers, but look what he's doing in his second season with Oklahoma City Thunder. And I know Westbrook's averaging a triple-double, but Paul George is the man. He's the man who leads that team and takes the shots, the big shots to get them that win. Oklahoma City will have something to say about that playoff race. And let me give you a #4 guy, too. Steph Curry is my #4. I don't think he'll win it, but hey, he's got to put a Golden State Warrior in there. #1 in the West on an 11-game win streak. Got the addition of Boogie Cousins. Hey, like I said, they're gonna win their 3rd championship in 4 years as I see it happening. But Steph Curry, second in the league with over 29.2 points per game. Hey, what can you say about Steph? Greatest shooter of all time and hands down. No, he has two other great shooters in Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant. But hey, can't count Steph Curry out, two-time MVP. And one more thing I want to get at NBA fans is the All-Star game. Now, as we all know, we have East and the West, and then we pick from a pool of teams. But the 2 top vote getters were Giannis and LeBron James. Now, the starters for the West were LeBron, PG-13, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and James Harden. And in the East, we got Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving, Joel Embiid, the Greek Freak, and Kemba Walker. And then today, they just announced the reserves. That was AD, Klay Thompson, LaMarcus Aldridge, Russell Westbrook, and Jokic from the Denver Nuggets. Now, in the East, you got Chris Middleton, Kyle Lowry, Victor Oladipo, who will need a replacement. And you also have Blake Griffin from Detroit Pistons, who's balling his ass off. Now, I'm from the great state of Michigan, but the Detroit Pistons team is a joke, and Blake Griffin is carrying them, so shout out to him. Also, shout out to Dame Lillard, I forgot to mention too, who made it on the West. And you also have Bradley Beal, who is one of my favorite players in the league. They don't need John Wall, by the way. And Vucevic from the Orlando Magic, who hella earned this. I know Orlando Magic are not a relevant franchise, but man, he balls his ass off every night. A true NBA fan like me will know that. And also, you got Ben Simmons, point guard from the 76ers. Can't shoot yet. He's not shooting three, but he's one hell of a player. Hey, I don't have any arguments with none of these guys. As we all know, next week they will be doing the draft to see who picks who and what team. Hey, I'm looking forward to that. Next week I will give you a video on who I would create my team with a friend of mine as well. But guess what? I think the only guys I can think that got left out maybe that you should have considered was DeMar DeRozan from the Spurs, Donovan Mitchell, hey, Devin Booker. Hey, it's going to be tough for Devin in that Western Conference with all the studs they got in there. But hey, I'm a great NBA fan. I'm looking forward to these next couple weeks. We got the All-Star game coming up, and we got the great playoff push. What a great season. By the way, LeBron James is back tonight against the Clippers finally after missing 17 games. So it will be one hell of a season coming down the stretch in this year. What a great season so far. Hey, NBA fans, I got more coming your way, but I had to give you my rapid fire. So if you got any comments, concerns, leave it under my box. And you always remember to follow me on my Twitter page. That's at Keeping a Score. It's your boy Adrian, and I'm out.